everyone. I am Kai,
And I'm Kai.
and together we are 4DM.
And today we're going to today's topic is gay fetishization within media. Specific media is going to be animation or the comic industry, specifically anime or manga in this case.
Yes, and let's just get into it, I guess. We actually have a list over
Everything we want to cover in this video.
All of the topics that we want to talk about. So let's start with art style.
Yeah, let's start with, because we're going to debunk the issues within these comics and animation, like what the issues are and why they're issues. So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so first off, there's a huge problem in the art style.
Oh god, art style.
For example, manga and anime and just general comics that people make.
Because, like, the thing is, there's the whole size difference thing that people do, where they tend to make, between two cis men, because we're going to talk about men, sadly, so there's often, like, they tend to make a difference, like, in size between the characters to make one of them appear more childlike. It's the dumbest shit ever. And this usually doesn't only manifest in physical height, but also in stuff like physique, like, you know, slim, like, a very slim figure and bigger eyes, or, like, just a generally more childish appearance.
Yeah, it's really, like, either they try to make one of them really feminine, or they make one of them a literal child.
Or they make one of them super masculine. I'm talking bulk, like big ass shoulders and like. Okay, so we brought up a list of according to some site, the top 12 best shonen ai anime, or anime with shonen ai elements. And I'm just gonna read up the ones of them that seem the most questionable to me. So maybe we take this when you aren't having tics, or like...
This is good representation.
It's disability representation. Okay, let's just continue and go with it. It has personality. So on number 9, according to this list, as you're gonna see on the screen, is Super Lovers. I haven't watched any of these, keep in mind, but I'm just gonna make observations based on, like, the picture and the description. So, according to this, they're literally adopted brothers. And if you don't see a problem with that, there's something wrong with you. Because that is literally incestuous. Especially as in hinted with other pictures that I've seen. They seem to have grown up together, at least on one of their parts. Also, you can see in the picture that is showing that, do you see how small that boy is? That's a child. That is a teenager. That is a schoolboy. And that is a very grown adult man. Very grown. Very, very grown. That looks like a whole fucking adult. That's a whole ass adult.
It's a common pattern that you can really see in these kinds of anime and manga. How they really like to see one that is like the obvious top, and he's the one in charge, and he is the alpha over this.
No, you're not gonna call the fucking alpha.
Yeah,
but often he is, though, if it's a makeover, but we're not gonna get into that. But also, this is based in this is like rooted in heteronormativity and the need to have a woman in the relationship. And if they can't make their man,
obviously the child, because women are children.
If they can't make their man. If they can't make their man feminine enough, they'll just have to make him a literal child for him to seem submissive enough for their standards.
Submissive and breedable.
Yeah, in some cases, unironically. Yeah. And preg.
Oh, God.
Our next example, Hitori My Hero. That's his literal teacher. I read the description on another site too, and it just, because I was guessing, because I think I've heard of it somewhere. But that's his literal teacher. And if that's not questionable enough for you, because if this was a heterosexual relationship, you'd be like fucking, you'd be fighting shit. Like, it'd be bad and it would be criticized. But it's described as cute and a kind of rocky experience with some breathtaking, like, twists. No, it's just pedophilia. But since it's gay, he can't be a victim, because men can't be victims in these kind of cases.
Yeah, and it's really just something that you can also see that, like, he clearly isn't enjoying this kind of situation.
Yeah, we're not gonna make assumptions though, because like this might just be one scene, and we have no idea how their relationship actually unfolds. But that literally does not matter. In this, he does undoubtedly look uncomfortable, but I don't want us to embarrass ourselves and say something totally nasty. Even if he was, he's a child, and he cannot consent to the sexual advantages of an adult, a literal thinking adult man. Okay, next one. I can't pronounce that, but we'll put the name on the screen. But anyways, look at the eyes. This is exactly what I mean. With me, for some reason, makes one's eyes like huge. This is exactly what I mean.
Make him look more sweet and feminine.
Yeah, more woman-like, and like you can just look at his eyes, and also the height difference. Their difference in physique. It's just not it in any way. And he also seems to have long hair, which is something that I have recognized in a lot of, like, for example, Chinese, like, dramas and stuff. That's pretty normal. But it also just, in this case, just adds to his feminine picture. Though, correct me if that is something cultural. But he just appears very feminine looking in general. It's clearly a choice, too. Next one. That also plays into the example. This is also from another list, keep in mind. Gravitation, it's called. The point is, look at him. If that is not one of he looks like a child. He looks like a teenage boy. Can you deny that?
Yeah.
Look at his.
It's the pattern of the big eyes
and
how
also
he just looks
slim.
so sweet.
Yeah,
and,
slim shoulders.
Yeah, he gets to smile. He is happy.
He has this cool, cool like, and like. Okay, just take, like, for example, his slim physique. Like, you can see how much slimmer his shoulders are compared to his.
Mention that there's a little stuffed bunny.
What the fuck is that? I
have no idea. And what I'm guessing is that, like, that is probably like the gift he got from the alpha one.
And he also shut the fuck up. No, we're not playing a guessing game here in case fans come at us. But
sorry.
Here it also stands in the description according to this that he wants to become a famous pop singer like his idol. And if we this is a common pattern usually that the bigger one is I'm gonna guess that the blonde one is Ryuichi Sakuma because otherwise you'd call me surprised that like he's a fanboy, but he doesn't look very fanboy to me. He looks more like the cool, mature idol.
Yeah.
And also by this, it's hinting that he's older and more experienced. That's a key point. Usually, a lot of the time, one of the bigger things is that the older one is usually more mature and has more experience. They can guide the younger one to save him in hard situations. It's like a whole ass thing. And you can even manifests in, like, you know, work cycles, with usually one of them being the boss and one of them being the helpless employee that gets bullied by everyone else, like a fucking office story.
Yeah. And there's also, like, for example, on Webtoon, the, like, soft love one, which is, like, it's called soft love, and where there's, two people, and,
it's technically not MLM, but it is, it's non-binary loving men, so, like, if we're talking the non-binary character, they're so small.
Yeah. Like, there's basically this guy who is really, like, tall. He has a pretty big build, and he looks, you know, very dominant, you know.
Shut the fuck up.
He looks like the stereotypical
you're right.
top, you know.
Yeah.
And then there's this non-binary one, and they're like, they're super small, like really skinny, you know, short.
And we're also gonna talk about their
puffy big hair
and their attitude throughout the whole show. It's like, I'm sorry, like it's giving. That's what it's giving, and that is giving very childlike to me. It also fits into like a whole lot of non-binary stereotypes, but we're just not gonna get into that
like
for
the
now.
Colored hair, like. The color palette,
the small bean kind of stereotype, you know, where like it's like the helpless little cute non-binary that just loves forest things. Yeah, it kind of feels like that.
And not to mention the way that he was there being like, I'm an adult, you know, I can order stuff myself.
He shouldn't have to clarify that. It should be obvious contextually. that he's an adult. And if you have to clarify that in your comic, there's clearly a problem. If your character doesn't look adult enough to pass an adult, even within your own comic standards, it's not funny or quirky. It's borderline pedophilic that someone that is an adult would be attracted to them, like physically, would just see that person and go, I'd want to fuck that, because that is what you are seeing is basically a child.
Yeah, and you can also really see like the hair, how it's usually one having like longer or more puffy hair. Like,
more feminine hair, because like that's usually how a lot of people draw more feminine hair.
Yeah, and it's usually some kind of like at least not natural color.
Yeah, like it's usually like
pink, blue, like
but that's not really.
red.
I don't think that's a problem in itself.
Yeah,
they have colored hair, absolutely cancel.
Yeah,
it's anime.
Putting in like kind of like it kind of gives off this vibe as everyone who's gay has cool hair, and then the one who it's always the sweet and submissive one that has the cool hair, and the one who is dominant, the tall, but always has some kind of like natural hair, like blonde or black or brown, you know.
Yeah, like.
Which is like making even more stereotypes.
Because it's also making stereotypes, you know, that like the one with non-dyed hair is usually the more mature, adultish one.
Yeah.
Which puts like one of them in a more immature teenager kind of situation.
It just makes dyeing your hair seem like something that is very like
submissive and breedable.
Immature to like only children do it, which is it's really not. Anyone can dye their hair if they want to.
Even if they're not like a small person.
Yeah, and even if they're an adult. Yeah.
I think we're getting a little off topic, however.
Yeah. Let's get into the other topics.
Yeah, the next topic that we have is the whole the concept that a lot of because this is usually written by by heterosexual or women attracted cis women who are attracted to men for other straight, in this case, women. So it's written by women for women, which is why like a lot of these things are like excused, but that's still not the point, because now we're going to talk about how in like shonen ai and yaoi you can get away with basically anything. Like you can just get away with anything.
The MLM fetishization in anime and manga and comics. For example, you can always see a lot of pedophilia, borderline pedophilia, sexual content, rape.
And the concept of like men can't be victims, because that's what causes it. Because this is
men
also
can't be victims and women can't be
exactly,
predators.
and that's what it's all based on. Because people who say that like men can't be victims, that also ties to a lot of because like a lot of ecchi sexual anime with straight people usually have the woman being more predatory, because like women can't do that apparently without it being raped.
Because if a woman is raping someone, she's not actually raping them because she's a woman. She can't be a predator.
Yeah.
And if a man gets raped, he's not getting raped because he can't be a victim.
Yeah, it's literally so fucked up. Like, it's because, look, the thing is, like, also the same with pedophilia. Like, should we just, like, list off some comics that have pedophilia? Because, like, do we have any?
Well, we do have the same list from before, which is quite a lot.
Yeah. Let's just go in on, like, fucking Manga Owl. And let's just look and see where the pedophilia appears. Because, like, how long does it take me to find pedophilia or borderline pedophilia?
Manga Owl is a website where you can read comics and manga, like, online.
Yeah, it's really convenient, but it also has a lot of bullshit. Let's talk about this one that I've actually read, because, it's called In My Closet, and actually the only reason I read it was because it's called In My Closet, and also because I really like, celebrity relationships. I think they're romantic, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna give it a shot. I regretted that decision, because first off, if I'm not wrong, the main character, the blonde little bitch boy, he's practically a child. Like he's he's just pushing 18. He's not even like an adult. He might stretch it to 19. I don't know. I actually don't know how like his age range is throughout the comic. And his love interest, on the other hand, is an adult man, like a full-on adult man who has retired from the idol industry and now works as like a manager. I'm pretty sure. He works around, but that's not the point. The point is that their age gap is like 7 years, and if that's not questionable in itself, it just, oh my god. And the absolute, like, this is fine examples of like, you know, the physique difference, but it's also just so fucked up. Because it's not about, like, it's, in this case, not about, like, it's more about the older character, and how any adult man, how this adult man in this case, he's maybe, like, what, 25, he sees this childlike guy, who's young, and immature, and just starting out his career, and he goes, yeah, I want to have intercourse with him, I'm physically attracted to him, that's what it is.
Yeah, and it's really just, even like as a creator, you yourself shows what kind of representation you want to show, and if you like purposely choose to make a huge age gap between these two characters,
yeah, there's something wrong with you too, because
yeah, like
it's the same as with incest. Like, people defend it by, well, this kind of stuff happens in real life. Yeah, but like the author made a conscious decision about it. They made the character siblings on purpose, and that could have easily been avoided because, you know what, you were the guy in charge. No one is forcing or even hinting towards them being related.
Yeah.
It's such a waste.
Like, it's a different thing in real life, which in real life it's still not good.
But like, you can't really, like, it's more about feelings, and the feelings are a lot of the time not really a choice. And it's very, and also, you know, like, those people that accidentally date their cousins, you know?
Yeah.
That kind of shit happens, but...
It's kind of like when you actually act on these feelings, when it becomes a problem, you know?
Yeah. That's, however, let's move on to the next one. And it's also, because I'm taking up on stuff I've read here, because otherwise I wouldn't just be making claims for the most part. This one is called Candyman. And it doesn't look bad. It was actually, like, I thought it looked cute, so that's why I read it. You want me to just explain the basic premise of the show?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so there's the main character, the brown-haired one, blonde, whatever, and he internet scams men for their money by pretending to be their online girlfriend. And he meets this guy in particular, black-haired guy, who they don't have real-life contact yet, and basically, he, like, starts, you know, buying things for the blonde guy, because, like, they get together in the game or whatever, but this guy soon starts to, like, you know, he starts to ask for more, like, oh, can we have phone calls, can we, like, do this and this, which eventually leads to them FaceTiming, where the blonde guy has to dress up in, like, I think, like, a wig and his sister's school uniform, which then leads to the black-haired guy, who also turns out to be his classmate, which he realizes when he sees him on screen. He goes to his sister's school to try to find, like, try to find the blonde guy, because it turns out he's a literal stalker, and it's so threatening the whole time, like, because at some point I think he literally threatens to kill him, but people think that's cute, quirky, and funny.
Yeah, and it also really leads back to the whole, you know, men can't be victims.
Yeah, if you read the genres for this, it's drama, comedy, shonen ai, and webtoon. Comedy? What's comedic about this? It's just so fucked up. Let's read some of the tags made by people who have read this. Read it. Recommended. So adorable. Exciting. This is so cute. Then comes a good one. I'm scared. Another one. It's creepy. I just don't get it. And then another one. Like, it's so precious. Makes your heart boom. A manipulative bitch. You should read this. I can't. It's too cute. So kawaii. What? You can clearly see which of these people are sane, because if this was you, it wouldn't be very cute. If this was a heterosexual couple, it wouldn't be very cute. It would be fucked up. You would be like shocked.
Like it if someone who you can just like,
What if
just
a man?
met now, like where she just come up to you and threaten to kill you if you didn't enter a relationship with them?
Like, literally, like, imagine if this was a heterosexual relationship, like, written by a man, you would be shook to the fucking core. You would despise that man. You would think this was fucked up because it's literally stalking and it's threatening and it's all forced and it's abusive. But because it's two men, it just can't be because, like, he's gonna like warm up to it eventually. He's just playing hard to
he can't be a
get.
victim because he is a man. Like,
What is the like motivation behind that?
yeah, and not to mention,
idiotic.
if it was heterosexual and the woman was the one threatening, no one would care because women can be like predators. Only men can be predators and men can be victims. It's just impossible.
Yeah, like that's some people's brains do not click around that, which is also why in real life, a lot of men who have come out with like come out with stories about how they've gotten raped by women and other men have been denied because you're a man. You should be able to defend yourself just fine. When half the time it's psychological, half the time you're frozen to the floor, can't move a muscle because you're in shock. Why are men expected to be able to? It's so dumb.
Yeah, and maybe we should just normalize the whole idea of that people are people, and no matter if you're a man or woman, or you're an envy, or you're whatever, you should still be able to be a victim. It doesn't matter who you are.
Yeah, like what if you said that what if you denied what if a man got killed by a woman?
Yeah.
And you just think, well, he should have just defended himself. It's literally
Yeah,
not that
man.
hard.
He's a man.
Nah.
Yeah, he's a
Enjoy
man.
the experience.
He's a man. He could have just easily like encountered that, but no, like not everyone has the ability to just do something. Like you can be so scared in the moment that you don't want to do it. Like, you could even have an emotional relationship with this person in which you don't want to destroy or you wouldn't want to hurt them.
Yeah.
Which is like, if you were to, for example, if a man were to, for example, get like raped by a woman, he could literally have an emotional like relationship with her, and then he obviously wouldn't want to just push her back as soon as she did something because he wouldn't want to hurt the relationship.
Yeah, exactly. That's actually like what happens a lot, especially in abusive relationships, that you just can't find yourself saying no. It's a really big issue even within real life. But
usually when it's women raping, it's obviously not all of the time, but usually it's probably more of something that like their partner just can't say no because they don't want to hurt their relationship, or maybe don't want to hurt the person, which is like, and it's usually not in the kind of same way as when it's fully forced that someone is holding you down. Like,
yeah, but like other than that, I think we need to specify one thing, which is that we do like still think that, for example, stalkers, killers, and pedophiles should exist within anime. That might sound weird, but I do think they should still exist. But only that it depends. It all depends on like how they're portrayed.
How you portray it, and like it just gives good opportunities to actually keep these kind of characters in your stories.
It also
to show like. That you stand in support with these
exactly.
people who have been
because it creates awareness and it creates like it opens the eyes of a lot of new audiences. But if you paint it in a kind of quirky, funky light, it's just gonna get a lot of people a very fucked up view of these things.
Yeah, for example, in Hunter x Hunter, Hisoka, he's a horrible character and he is a pedophile.
Yeah,
he also is also portrayed as a horrible character.
Yeah, literally, because the thing is, he is a bad guy. It's no secret. And part of that is because he's a literal pedophile, and they don't try to, like, sneak around it. Pedophilia is bad, and so is Hisoka. Not only because he's a pedophile, but that's a lot of it, and that's just, it doesn't matter if he's attracted to the power, that's still a child.
Yeah, like, the only problematic stuff about him is coming from the fandom for trying to defend him, but the anime in itself is showing that he is a horrible person and he's disgusting. And they never try and defend him. They never like gave him and Ron, for example, a consensual, healthy relationship, because it just could not be.
Yeah, it doesn't work like that.
When he's 12 and he is an adult.
Yeah, like even if Gon would have liked Hisoka by any weird ass scenario, he couldn't consent to that because he's a child, and children cannot consent to adults. So even if he would have liked him back, whatever, it still cannot be because it's predatory.
Yeah, not to mention that it's just so wrong in so many ways, but it's still a really good way, not a good example for how you can keep pedophilia in your story without making your story problematic.
But it's also all about your story's genre, because in this case, it's used because it's used to make the story creepier, which it works in. But like,
the whole story is supposed to be kind of creepy and mysterious, you know?
Yeah, so like adding someone who's creepy and mysterious in every way adds to that image.
Yeah, like you're kind of supposed to feel kind of scared or like some kind of chill that we spent while watching this.
Yeah. Now we can talk about some examples of pedophilia, like poor pedophilia, like glamorized pedophilia, I guess it defines it. And we've already talked a lot about this, but for example, one good example that I want to talk about is Classmate, or Dokuse, which in general is a really good anime that I would recommend for any queer person, because it genuinely has a really beautiful, a beautifully portrayed queer relationship between two characters that are equals and aren't treated like they're not no one's treated like a child. It's actually really good in that sense. But there's an issue about a certain character in the show, which happens to be their teacher. He is an adult man, and the reason he's working at this all-boys school is because he likes children. He likes the boys. He is attracted to students, and therefore he enjoys his job. He was also making, he was also, like actively trying to get involved with his teacher when he was in school, which was really fucked up in itself. But that he's still a child. He was dumb. But now the situation is flipped, and he's an adult who is like actively trying to pick up students, and it's really fucked up. He even tries to kiss the main character, which thankfully didn't happen. But it's canon that he's been actually fantasizing about the main character. So that's really fucked up. And there's apparently also a side story where he gets together with a student, and he remains involved with the student, and that's supposed to be a happy ending. That's good, apparently. It's literally like so fucked up, and it's not beautiful in any way. It's just pure fucked up.
It doesn't matter if their relationship seems like it's healthy or good. It's still not, because this child cannot give consent to this adult.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way.
That's literally not how it works by any of this world's modern standards. And like, I think
there's also like they kind of like pedophilia in like your stories that would be the kind of one that you would hate, that seems like, oh, it's okay if it starts an age difference. It's kind of like when you're romanticizing the pedophilia, like you go like, oh yeah, they're so cute together, like, yeah, there's an age gap, like it's kind of like a father-son relationship, which that sucks. Like, you shouldn't do that. Same with sexualizing it, making it seem like, oh, it's something hot and sexual, Same with like incest and things close to that. Like, it's not good in any way, shape, or form.
Also, why is incest so normal in queer fiction? Like, oh my god, they were step siblings. Oh my god, they were like siblings. Oh my god, and that's like seen as attractive, but it's not, because it's incest. What? Oh my god, that was high pitch. But
Yeah,
you also,
a good way to show pedophilia in a story is demonizing it. Like that's
yeah,
literally what you have to do.
make it predatory, make it like,
Show just how awful it is. There's for example this anime called Happy Sugar Life, where
oh yeah,
there's several people who are like pedophilic in this, but every time they're shown as these disgusting people. Where they, like one of them, like he like starts drooling at the sight of a child and shit. And they
yeah,
just show that he is a horrible person. Same with this other teacher who was like being pedophilic. Like the main character literally like kind of attacked him, not attacked
yeah.
him. Like yeah,
She has like, and it really, because they are not meant to be pleasant. The way that you should write pedophiles is how they are in real life. You should write them as disgusting and creepy and just very, because writing them from the perspective of a victim is really smart, like they do with, and you can do that with, like, for example, visual effects and posture, and just in general making your character seem more gross and weird, like they do, like with, you know, like more dramatic expressions and weird smiles, and like just overdo it so that people will know for sure that it's pedophilic and not just, oh, he's just fond of his student.
Yeah.
No, that's a pedophilic man.
Also with like how you make the like that character react, that one that the victim, like that you show that they're very uncomfortable, that they don't like it, and also how you make this person react, no, how you make them communicate and stuff with this person, like make them like kind of awkwardly close with like the victim, like
yeah,
to the point where you can see how uncomfortable this victim is and how horrible it is.
You want to make your viewers uncomfortable through the screen.
Yeah.
Like, the worst thing is that these stereotypes and things that are, like, brought up in these characters are also taken into the real world. Like, for example, because there's the whole, you know, like, you know, oh my god, it's the bottom and top, the feminine and the masculine. That is actually pushed onto real life existing men. Like, like you're being, like, if you, as a gay man, like, might come out, or a queer man, and someone who's MLM, would come out to a cis straight female friend, she might just actually unironically ask, like, oh my god, are you like a top or a bottom?
Yeah.
And it's just so uncomfortable.
Yeah, it also reinforces the stereotype of there always needs to be a woman and a man in the relationship.
Exactly.
You can't ask a couple of two men who's the woman, because they're both men.
There is no woman, dumbass. And like, it's just really, because that's just like enforced upon like a lot of queer people today. Like, oh my god, who's the woman? Who's the man? Like, who's the man? Who's the man?
Who's the man? That's what you can.
Yeah. And like, it's just so disgusting.
Yeah, it also reinforces the heteronormativity. The fault that everyone you see is straight until they tell you that they're not.
Yeah, and it also inflicts a very negative mindset within a lot of like young teenagers' heads, like, because these people are easily affected. Who are queer, they think they might have to be some certain way. But even worse is like the young female audience, the young women that read this, and this is the only concept they have of queer men, because queer out men aren't very common, especially like adult queer men who are what's actually supposed to set an example for how they act, which is like any other people, but they just get this weird, like, twisted image of how gay men are, and it's just really weird.
I also myself remember, like, when being young, how like gay men were always supposed to act like some kind of way. They were always supposed to be some kind of like feminine. They were like wearing makeup, you know, the certificate, like, oh my god, you're so slay, young.
Yeah, you're so
that kind of thing.
And that also manifests in calling straight men who like makeup and stuff, oh my god, you're so gay. That's so gay of you.
And also, like, I remember, like, in what, 6th grade or something, that I would say, like, yes, you know, that kind of thing. And I literally, like, had people say, you sound like a gay man when you say that.
No.
Yeah.
Oh.
Which is like, that's not how it works. There's no way
To sound gay. There's no.
You can't sound like a gay man. Like,
Yeah.
how you speak does not define your sexuality. These stereotypes just usually happen a lot because, like, the community is always in touch, and like usually like either they're trying to make fun out of these stereotypes, or like they originate from that just one person in that community started saying that, and then the rest of the community also went through and with it and thought, oh yeah, that's pretty nice.
Yeah. And like also like I don't, because like it's just, I don't think necessarily that anime and manga have this much of a of an effect on like general modern society.
Yeah,
it has certain target audiences, but it kind of becomes like a whole like, it just goes around in a circle when no one is willing to change, not the modern world nor the modern media. It's not going to change in that case. Someone has to step up first, whether it is people, whether it is creators of like comics, movies, etc., or if it is the general public. Someone has to step out and break the norms, but because that's never going to happen.
Like there's always gotta be there's gotta be someone who decides to take the first step, and it doesn't matter if it is the media or it is the people. We just need someone to do it, because otherwise there will be no change at all.
Yeah.
Because if neither side want to take action, then there's not going to be any action being taken.
Yeah, there's not going to be a change.
Yeah, and that's just simply how it is. I think that actually rounds up about everything.
Yeah, but before you go, you should go and support some shows that actually have good queer representation. Yes. Doesn't matter if it's big or small. Everything matters when it comes to creators taking a stand. So Here you have a list: Hunter x Hunter, Banana Fish, Number 6, Attack on Titan, Komi Can't Communicate, My Summer Review, which by the way is a manga, unlike everything else on this list, Boys Run the Riot, also manga, One Direct Priority, and these are all good examples that have non-toxic representation of queer people, and except those that I stated are manga, are actually anime. Though I do recommend the Number 6 manga over the anime because it has more, or like maybe the books, because it actually has a lot of media, but it really took away a lot in the anime took away like the
like censoring.
Yeah, the fucking censorship. Oh my god, the censorship of like Heaven Official's Blessing, and that author's works, because those she's an author and she's a Chinese author and she writes a lot of MLM work, and it has very like obviously stated MLM content that it's all of her stories are romance, but 2 out of 3 of them have gotten anime adaptations, but it's just completely cut out. It's hilarious. Like they put like 2 meters like between the characters at any point so they don't seem too gay. It's really funny in contrast, but also that's not really the point.
You shouldn't censor away something just because it's
gay. Like in Number 6, for example, they do like change like some. They just cut out a lot of scenes. It was shitty, but that was it for today. So thank you for watching and bye. Make sure to check out our Instagrams and also Kai's YouTube channel.
My YouTube channel. I have my own one.
Yeah, because you're swag.
Yeah, I'll link it in the description.
Yep. So we will also be linking our Instagrams, and the programs used for today's drawing was Procreate and Procreate only. And it was done by me, Kai. Thank you for watching. Bye.
Bye.